You're 18 years old, sleeping with men. You all using sex like it's a spectator sport. She's sleeping for the wrong reason. And ultimately, you know this is your responsibility.
Yes, Your Honor.
For some teenage moms, it is a struggle to prove the paternity of their child because most people believe they have multiple partners. This usually results in a heated paternity court case just like this one.
I never established a relationship with this child. That child been to my house 3 times.
If that's the case, Your Honor, come back home and act a fool in the street because you're not going to act it up in here.
When you watch paternity court cases, the man doubting a child's paternity is usually in court stating that his partner cheated, and he might be the father. However, this case seemed to be adding a twist when this happened.
Ms. Jackson, you determined the paternity of your alleged granddaughter. You claim your son would be a fool to think he fathered. She's a liar and had sex with multiple men.
The case became more interesting when the defendant admitting to having intercourse with other men, but argued that Ms. Jackson had already accepted the baby. At this point, Ms. Jackson felt the need to make some clarifications.
Your Honor, I never accepted the baby. I stated from day one, I do not believe my granddaughter.
But why is Ms. Pickens claiming that Ms. Jackson accepted her baby if that did not happen?
Okay, she came to my home with her mother. I never even heard of this young lady.
That's because you don't have a relationship with your son.
Yes,
I knew your son.
And he never mentioned her.
He had
Okay, let's get to order, ladies.
Ms. Jackson claimed she never heard of Ms. Pickens or her baby and only met them when the baby was 4 months old.
She comes in with this child. And again, I said, I have a problem because you said it was another man's child. At the end of the day, this is not my grandchild when I never knew of y'all. Hey.
The arguments gave the impression that there was apparent doubts about the paternity of Ms. Pickens' baby. Judge Lake wants to understand why Ms. Pickens believed Ms. Jackson's son was her baby's father.
I did believe that it was one of the guys that I was dating.
How many guys were you sleeping with?
She
When I
don't
met
know
him, me
that.
and the boy stopped.
So she also said she's a cheater.
When Ms. Pickens met Ms. Jackson's son, she already had a boyfriend, but somehow they got into a relationship. She described her relationship with Ms. Jackson's son as just messing around.
Me and her son was messing around
And
every
you had
day.
on with someone else at that same time.
No, not at that same time.
The ladies could not seem to agree on some basic situation surrounding the relationship, which birthed the baby whose paternity is in dispute.
When me
We're
and her-
going to understand a couple things. I ask the questions, you answer them. Talk to me.
After breaking up with Miss Jackson's son, Miss Pickens admitted to having an affair with another man she thought was the father.
Why are you convinced he's not the father and Miss Jackson's son is?
Yes, I did thought the other guy was her daddy. You the last person I slept with. I'm going to think that he was her father.
This statement meant that Miss Pickens was pretty young and inexperienced at the time of conception. She did not know how pregnancy worked, and she just wanted someone to call the father of her baby.
If my daughter was not yours, you can come over with your daughter and spend the night.
Because my son is claiming this is his child.
Miss Jackson acknowledged that her son felt like this was his daughter, but she has never accepted the child as her granddaughter.
My son looks more like her mother.
So you're saying you look at the baby, you don't have that feeling
exactly.
that
this is my grandchild. I love dearly and take very good care of them.
Apart from this doubt, Miss Jackson had some ugly experiences with Miss Pickens, leading her to be wary of whatever she says.
She had several men. She have lied, stated she was pregnant with twins because her mother told me it was a lie. She was in a hospital when she really wasn't, Your Honor.
This gives a wrong impression of the kind of person Miss Pickens is, and explains why Miss Jackson can't trust her. But that is not all.
I was kind of hurt. I was kind of hurt. Yes, I did lie.
We found out because we called the hospital.
No, I did lie because I was kind of hurt.
At this point, Miss Pickens also steps in and tries to explain things from her point of view.
I'm not going to say what my child don't do. She is wrong. Why do this one got to get in it? This grown woman. And I got a 30-something-year-old woman. I'm talking.
There seem to be some misplaced priorities, because Miss Jackson's son's current girlfriend claims Miss Pickens is obsessed with her relationship. Miss Jackson also promised to take good care of the baby if the test revealed that she was the grandmother.
Mrs. Jackson, you are not her grandmother.
Got you.
In Judge Lauren Lake's court, we see couples arguing over the paternity of their child due to the allegations of cheating. However, this seems to be a different breed of the paternity court case.
Ms. White, your daughter's low self-esteem have led to promiscuity. Ms. White, you admit you are unsure who fathered daughter, but say you blame your mother.
Miss White is in court with two fathers who are both possible fathers to her 3-month-old daughter. But how did Miss White and her mom end up in this situation?
Your Honor, it's been 12, 13 years old, misbehaving in school. She said because her weight problem. I say she looked beautiful to me.
Now, it seems Miss White's weight is the current problem, which kicked the ball rolling for today's case.
It's like everywhere you go, you have to be a certain size. You know, I couldn't fit into it. She offered to take me to the Y. I got teased on up there.
Sometimes people suffer discrimination despite efforts to get back in shape, and this can have grave consequences.
Boys was throwing candy and water on me. You know, people could tell you you're beautiful. I don't feel like it's true.
The weight issue made Miss White quite lonely, and she wanted to be with someone, a partner in a beautiful relationship.
I wanted someone to, you know, Valentine's Day, I wanted gifts. I wanted all that, and I never got it.
Miss White's mother explained that her daughter was always finding love in the wrong places because she became desperate.
She want boyfriends. You know, you jeopardizing your life, sitting in a strange car with people I've never seen before.
Miss White had a friend who always introduced her to guys she felt were good enough. After the introduction, Miss White would have a relationship with the guy, but the friend always had someone new to introduce.
I mean, I was dating Mr. Langford.
Mr. Clopton as well?
I wasn't dating him. That was just like a one-night stand.
Were there any other men you were with during this time?
There was another guy at her house also.
At this point, it felt like Miss White's self-esteem was also affected because she didn't seem to be able to stay with only one partner. Judge Lauren Legg then felt a need to motivate and advise her before bringing in the potential fathers.
Before anybody comes in here and tells me anything, I want you to know, number one, you're beautiful. You have to believe it yourself, okay?
The possible fathers were then allowed to go into the court, where Judge Legg asked them about the nature of their relationship with Miss White.
We were dating for about a month. After the month, she had some trust issues with me, had a threesome with her.
During the time of conception?
Yes, ma'am.
One of the possible fathers?
Yes, ma'am.
Since there were two guys in court who could be the father of Miss White's baby, Judge Legg also asked the other guy about his relationship with Miss White.
At a party, so she started coming to me, let's have sex and stuff. The other guy...
What other guy?
The other guy she used to date.
This other gentleman came in the room?
Yes, ma'am.
These guys claim that they had intercourse with Miss White on nights when other guys also had intercourse with her. These statements meant that they had doubts about the paternity of Miss White's child.
Christy came over and she was talking to my other friend and she was telling him she wanted to have sex with him before she even just knew him. Threesome at my house. Yes, ma'am, it happened at my house. I was there in the room.
You in the room? You let that happen.
And I can't control.
Miss White's mother had preferences on which of the young men she hopes is her granddaughter's father, because she already had met him through her daughter.
I'm hoping Philip is the daddy so we'll know she still have a father. That's all she needs. She gonna be taken care of regardless, Your Honor.
The results are in, and Judge Legg is ready to reveal what is contained in those envelopes. For the first result,
Mr. Clopton, you are not
good.
Miss White's mother seems happy with the first result, but Mr. Clopton is disappointed despite being absent from the baby's life since birth.
I'm going through a lot right now.
There was a lot on your mind. You all are not making it better for yourselves.
Now, let's get the second result to ascertain baby Christina's birth father.
Mr. Langford, you are her father.
Cool.